Here we go then, another game week. Let's hope it's not the nightmare before Christmas. It hasn't started too well, more on that in a bit. We've had 2 1-all draws so far, as you find me on Saturday morning here in this field. And first one, Palace versus Brighton. No surprise, that all seems to end in a 1-all draw. Not too much to talk about from those two sides from a fantasy perspective this season. No different really from Thursday's game, apart from Pascal Gross, who does deserve to be in the conversation. I'm going to pick him out because 5 assists and 1 goal now in the last 6 game weeks. And in that time, 36 points. Only Kudos and I think it's Salah has scored more points. No, it's Trent. Trent and Kudos, the only 2 players to score more points than Pascal Gross in the last 6 game weeks. Obviously he's had the game more now, but 27 chances created in that spell, or 25 I think it is. 47 over the season. Only Bruno can match that over the season as well. You know, he's got 14 more points than Matoma, and when we talk about Brighton, it's always Matoma that we go to, but it really shouldn't be. It should be Pascal Gross. Is he in the conversation now for replacing Salah and Son when they go to AFCON and the Asia Cup? I don't think he's a fashionable pick, but given that last 6 game week return, we've got to consider him surely. If you were Watkins captain and you were frustrated by that Villa 1-all draw with Sheffield United, it's better fault for me. I had Bailey and had to see a goal chalked off, snatched away by VAR yet again. Dear me, I punched the air. I really thought he'd done that, and it's such an important differential for me this game week. I think at the moment our 5th midfielder and maybe one of our defenders is probably the only differential amongst the kind of seasoned FPL managers because the template is so strong. So I needed Bailey returns, didn't happen, so frustrating. Watkins kept down to 3 shots by Sheffield United, 0.28, his second lowest XG return this season at Villa Park. His lowest was Arsenal a few game weeks ago, of course. And Villa overall kept to 0.86 XG by a Sheffield United defence who played very well. So Villa frustrated. Douglas Luiz, the only player to come out of it with any FPL returns of note. He got the assist up to 83 points now. He's the 7th ranked midfielder. Just been chipping away with those set piece assists and the penalties, of course. And I guess if you're playing 3-4-3, he could be a 5th midfielder option still. And then other than that, Matty Cash came back into the side for Villa, but I reckon he was culpable for the Sheffield United goal, and he got the 5th booking of the season, so he's now out of the Boxing Day game as well. So Cash for me still a sell if you have held him this long. And then Cameron Archer got the goal off the bench for Sheffield United. He'll be in a lot on FPL benches this week, and he could be really crucial. If he's your first sub, or even your second, he might come into the reckoning, and he could be a bit of a rank buster for us. So if Watkins disappointed, Solanke certainly didn't. Big payback for those FPL managers who got Solanke in for game week 17 for the ill-fated match with Luton. Hat-trick against Forest. I could see it coming, to be honest. The data for both Bournemouth and Solanke was very strong. And yes, 10 men is a factor, but I don't think you can take that as too much reassurance. If you look at the last 6 game weeks now, he's top for shots, he's top for XGI non-penalty per 90, and this is with only 5 matches of data, of course, over those 6 game weeks because the Luton data's not there. So I just think he's the reason I'm going to 3-4-3. I don't see a midfielder in the same price bracket that offers his value. He's a talisman, he takes penalties, he's got 11 goals in 17 starts now, second only to Haaland, and he's playing 90 minutes. Everything for me just adds up to Solanke being not essential, but a very, very good purchase at this time. Now, arguably, we've got a lot to do with our transfers at the moment with AFCON, so I get it if you can't prioritise him over the transfers needed to get Salah and Son out and maybe go to Trent. I get it, but I think Solanke is someone, given that he's rising in price, that also needs to be a priority if you don't have him. So Richarlison is a midfielder in that bracket who we can consider value, of course, and he's definitely amongst the top targets to replace Son and Salah while they go off for international duty. Got his goal against Everton in an uncomfortable 2-1 win, I think it's fair to say. Only had the one shot and was off on 61 minutes with a back problem. Now, Ange said afterwards that he went into the game with a bit of an issue with his back. Not a reason not to strike him off the list, but we know how fragile he's been in the past, so that's something we've just got to keep in mind, keep an eye on. Son got his goal in the game, just the 2 shots from him, 0.27 XGI, quite low. Of course, we're all looking to sell either him or Salah, or both over this period. I'm probably going to keep him going into game week 20, 19 and 20. He's got Bournemouth in 20. I'll probably retain him for that as it stands. More on my plans for that in a minute, because they have changed when we get to the Liverpool game. I'll talk more about that. So yes, Spurs come out that game. It's Brennan who stood out though. 5 shots, 4 chances created, 5.8 million. If budget is a problem, he could present a really good option for this period as well, because he's definitely showing up and he's definitely going to get those starts while Son is away. And I know what he's capable of as well. I prefer Richarlison, but Brennan could really be a decent differential in this period. Also in that game, I think it's just worth mentioning Everton, because they played very well. Calvert-Lewin and Mikalenko showed up for me as standouts. So I think we've got to keep an eye on Everton over this period. Again, though, our priorities lie elsewhere with our transfers. But those are 2 players, along with Branthwaite, that remain on my watch list for sure. So yeah, Richarlison's still very much in my thinking, but Bowen probably still my top target. He got another goal, his 11th of the season, in a routine 2-0 win over Manchester United, who are really struggling for a cutting edge. Kudos again with another goal, and he would ordinarily be a consideration for this time, but of course he's also off to AFCON. So Bowen for me, he's the one I really want right now, but I think even with my new plan, I'm struggling to get enough funds to get to him. Also in this game, Ariola's return, that was cool, wasn't it, for those who sold him. Comes back into the side after Fabianski seemingly taking him out and Areola losing his place. But Areola now back in number 1 spot, it seems, and got a clean sheet, that lesser spotted clean sheet that we've all been wanting from Areola over a long period of ownership. And of course it comes in an 8-point return just as we moved into Dubravka. I still think that's a good move. I still think over the season, given that Pope's out long term, Dubravka will be the better option. It's only going to be a problem, of course, if Newcastle goes shopping in January. And let's face it, that is a possibility, because Newcastle suffered another defeat on the road. Their 4th away defeat now in a row. Trippier, Lascelles and Dubravka in that game for me. Big disappointment. I thought they'd be wise to the set-piece threat. I really thought they wouldn't get caught out, but Townsend getting the goal from a flick on at the corner. Again, Luton profiting from set plays. Disappointment for Newcastle, who couldn't get back in the game. Trippier created 5 chances, second only to Gross in the game week. So crumbs of comfort there as a Trippier owner, and it's Forest next, so I can't sell going into that game. Got to start him there. For Lascelles, though, he went off with a hip injury on the half-hour mark, and now Botman's back, and Shah was fit for this game. Lascelles looks like he's going to have to be a sell. It's not certain, though. It's not certain that Botman is going to come straight back into the side when Lascelles is fit. But you think Lascelles misses Boxing Day, and then, over long term, I think he's a sell for me now. Which brings us to Anfield. Frantic 1-1 draw. Salah got his goal from, I think, 3 shots, 2 chances created, 0.38 XGI over the game. He had a decent game, played well, but again, Trent was the standout, oh my word. I've been talking a lot about how going without Porro has been difficult when you watch him in matches, but watching Trent at the moment, not owning him, is absolutely terrifying. He had 3 chances created, he had that 1 shot, but the 1 shot that he did have, of course, was a golden opportunity which Salah set up. Must have been agony for owners. It certainly was for people who didn't have him like me. And And now the situation has changed because Tsimikas, I had Tsimikas and I was quite not happy. I was content going into the AFCON break without Trent, knowing that I had Liverpool clean sheets at least covered with Tsimikas. But a collarbone injury now has changed everything for me. It's changed my plan again. More on that at the end of this vid when we talk about when we finish the Chelsea Wolves game. But just to round off at Anfield, Gabriel got a 10-pointer. He was on my bench, third on my bench. Do I regret not starting him? Well, of course, but I love the 10 points. Starting Tsimikas for a 1-pointer, Lascelles for a 1-pointer, both going off injured. What can you do? That's FBL. But yeah, looking back, it was very tight playing Gabriel or Tsimikas. For me, Tsimikas had the greater attacking potential. I didn't see a Gabriel goal coming necessarily. Tsimikas taking set pieces, crosses from the left, of course. And I expected Liverpool to score, so I thought that Liverpool were more likely to keep a clean sheet than Arsenal, because Liverpool at Anfield, when do they blank? So I'm kind of content with their decision, but obviously would have been lovely to get Gabriel's points. A great differential if you started him, of course. What? This is me. This is Christmas spirit. This is the best I can do. Bad game week. More on that in a minute. So let's wrap this up. Ho, ho, ho. Wolves 2, Chelsea 1. Not a lot to take from that, really. Palmer was quiet, 3 chances created, a couple of shots, 0.25 XGI. Sterling came out of it at 1.95 XGI. Got the assist for Nkunku's goal, but why didn't he pass? I don't know. I don't know why he didn't pass the ball to Palmer. Incredibly frustrating, Sterling, and that obviously would have been return for us Palmer owners. But yeah, overall, another disappointing Chelsea display and result. Good result for Wolves, obviously. Not a lot to pick out from them. I guess from Chelsea's point of view, Nkunku's goal, he could be a factor. Second half of the season, he looked lively, and we know what he's capable of from his record elsewhere. So Nkunku's one to keep an eye on. Not one for now, I don't think. I still think Solanke, Watkins, Haaland are going to be the 3 we go forward with. But Nkunku, we've got to keep an eye on. Got to keep an eye on his data. For me, so frustrating. Oh, why didn't I play Aït-Nouri? I tried to blame Az, but I don't think I can. I just don't understand. I bought him for the upside. He got injured at Fulham. That was a blow. And then I was toying with playing him. Now, I had Tsimikas, Gabriel and Aït-Nouri, and I chose Tsimikas, the one who got 1 point, and left the players who got, 7 and 10 on the bench. Just, incredibly frustrating for me. And again, I've got to go upside. Aït-Nouri was the upside choice. I think, for that game. There was a chance he was going to keep a clean sheet, and he got it because he went off before Chelsea's goal. Very, very annoyed about that. But the big news is that Palmer and Sterling are both suspended for Boxing Day. So Palmer's suspension is another factor behind my change of plan for the Haaland situation. I've just been so skittish here. I've gone from Trippier going out, being the plan, and with Darwin to get Haaland back in game week 20, to Son going out, to Bowen and Darwin going out to get Haaland in game week 20. And now I'm thinking, because Tsimikas got injured and I haven't got a Liverpool defender to cover Trent's clean sheets, I've got to go to Trent. And going to Trent means I've got to commit to Salah. And not only that, with the price rises the way they are, I've got to go to Trent tonight, get it out of the way. In a way, I'm pleased about that. I don't have to think about it on Christmas Day, which would be terrible. I shouldn't be thinking about FBL on Christmas Day, nor should you, but I have done in the past. So I'm probably going to make that transfer tonight. Now, I've got a confession to make. Awkward this. I've got to do it for a hit because, stupid, I know this is so suboptimal. I made a transfer on Friday night where I took Aït-Nouri out for Porro because I thought Aït-Nouri was going to go down that night, and my solution when it involved Son, it needed every 0-1. I couldn't afford to make the move to Bowen if I didn't move Aït-Nouri out before he went down 0-1, if that makes sense. So foolishly, I made the transfer on Friday night. Aït-Nouri didn't go down because the price rises at all weren't correct. They often aren't on drops, which is fair enough. Don't blame them, it's all on me. So now, in order to make the transfer to Trent, I've got to take the hit. I'm just going to have to swallow it, I think, because for me, every 0-1 does count, and I want to move tonight to get him. It's going to be a hit, but I think Trent at Burnley could be a factor. And with Palmer out, I'm now down to no subs. Well, I have got one sub. I've got no, I'm not. no subs. I'd have to play Bailey and no subs. And I'm not sure Bailey starts. I think he could get rested for the Burnley home game at Old Trafford, or, you know, or may only get half the game. Still problems with him. So, upshot of it is, new solution for the Haaland situation. We don't know, he's not going to come back for 19 in my view. His tweet tonight said that he wasn't training still. Will he come back for 20? Maybe, but are we going to get news that's going to be definite? I don't know yet. So I'm going to approach that one, cross that bridge when it comes, make the transfer tonight, get him in for 19, probably, well, start him at Burnley and bench Bailey. That's what I'm going to do. So there you go. Not optimal play for me, but yeah, we all do it. You know, I make mistakes. Aït-Nouri, the hit for Porro, not sure what I'm doing, but I've got to forgive myself that and go forward. It's been a frustrating time. Back in game week 10, I entered the top 100k, 84k. Game week 18, I haven't moved. 8 game weeks, not moved. Just been up and down, small hours, red hour. It's just been so frustrating. What's that? You're 4 million in the world. Okay, I won't rub it in. Okay, first world problems, I get it, but you know, Az has gone back to 2.4 million because he didn't own Solanke, so perhaps I shouldn't be griping about it. But it has been a frustrating few game weeks for me, and I'm hoping making the move for Trent, an aggressive move, will help get me out of it. But it's a bit of a malaise at the moment. That'll do then. I'll wrap it up there. It's been a long ramble from me. I'm going to now have a drink and wrap some presents. All that remains to do is to thank you for your support for these videos. It's been smashing, getting lots of nice comments about them. And thank you for support for Black Box this year. I'll probably see you before the new year. We'll probably get something in from Black Box before the new year if Az comes out of hiding. But for now, have a great Christmas and be with your family. Don't think about FBL tomorrow. And I'm off to wrap some presents. Like and subscribe.